All right, Scorpio and Ophiuchus, welcome to this January of 2016 Sidereal Astrology forecast. My name is Athen, and this is for Sidereal Astrology. If you are new to this type of astrology, do check the description down below because the signs are different. All right, Scorpio and Ophiuchus, so this month kicks off with a retrograde, a Mercury retrograde of primarily your second house. It's going to be right on the cusp between your second and your third of Sagittarius and Capricorn. So maybe in some sense, there's around the 5th, maybe some sort of new thinking about the way you communicate, maybe the more social aspects of life in a sense. But the bulk of the retrograde is going to be in regards to your values, perhaps your finances, the material things in life, how you can redo those areas. And I think there's already a lot you've learned about it with the direct Mercury already transiting that entire second house. The sun's here giving you focus and attention. But it's going to be very transformative with the sun going over Pluto, Mercury going back over Pluto later on the month, and then back over again after his direct. So a lot of this you may have gained some insight about in terms of what needs to maybe change, specifically this past month in December. But whatever it was, it's going to change, I think, even more. So be open to change. Be open to really drawing that line in the sand in terms of where you can have more freedom, more non-attachment, more transformation with your values in life, material or otherwise. And that openness to change can really create some good flow with these kinds of aspects. Now, also in the early part of the month, Jupiter goes retrograde on the 7th and 8th. And this is going to be specifically with your career in your 10th house. Maybe there's been a lot you're learning about career or your legacy or future-oriented things right now with Jupiter here. Maybe there's opportunities. But now in the retrograde for about the next 5 months, it's a good time to rethink, rehash, redo some of these expansions that maybe you've had in this area. And the expansions still happen, of course, but they're much more internalized. So seeing what your own personal relationship is with your career, if it's fulfilling, what you're doing on that productive level, and how you can make it, more enjoyable for you because it's all happening in Leo. Now, on the 9th, we have a new moon in Sagittarius, so there are new beginnings with the financial material stuff. And so planting new seeds, but again, be in flux with it, even throughout this whole retrograde up until the 25th. But plant new seeds, try new things, be adaptive, put the energy into it, no doubt. But just be willing to change and shift directions if need be. Now, also on the 9th, Venus goes over Saturn in your first house. So a lot of you have been assuming more responsibilities lately, more of that, hard work, discipline with Saturn in your first house. So now with Venus here, and you probably noticed this coming out of December, that maybe you guys are feeling good, looking good, enjoying those connections, one-to-one relationships, maybe the more easier going energies of life as well. Venus rules both your 7th and your 12th. But over Saturn, there is lifting up of maybe some of that more seriousness and responsibilities. Now, it's good to stay responsible with whatever it is you're involved with, with your goals or what have you. But with Venus, you can do both. You can enjoy it on a serious level and enjoy it on a much more lighter and easygoing level. And I think with relationships, it's good to take those seriously around the 9th, but I think you naturally will be. And that could be heralding a new beginning with relationships in regards to commitment or maturity there for some of you. And also with your spirituality and alone time with Venus ruling your 12th. Now around the 18th, Mars trines up to Neptune, so you guys should be feeling quite easygoing, quite relaxed perhaps around the 18th, surrounding days. And this is maybe in regards to what you guys have been focused on over the past couple months with groups, or with networking, or with friends, or with your ideals on a bigger picture. That's been your ruler in that 11th. So easygoing with Neptune. It could be also easygoing with the home and family stuff. In fact, you could find maybe energy getting put into that home and family stuff quite easy, in fact. But you have that faith and trust, and that really eases up the more, assertive energies of Mars. Now on the 21st, we have the sun going into Capricorn. So here with this, shift into that 3rd house stuff. So if you did get an inclination or something earlier on the 5th in regards to communication, learning, your peers, siblings, things like that, whatever it is for you personally. Now the sun does shift in here. So for about the next 30 days, you've got this awareness, you've got this focus, you've got this energy to be gained through reading, writing, sharing, communicating, socializing. And that's where a lot of new beginnings are going to be next month in February. So it sort of starts to shift there. Now on the 22nd, Mercury goes over that Pluto exact. So again, being open to change with those finances or your values, the material aspects, and also be open to change with those group things. A lot of that's shifting this month, and with Mercury retrograde, it's always involving that 11th house. So be open to learning more and rehashing anything that involves friends or groups or organizations, as well as what's really meaningful to you in life. Mercury also rules your 8th. So there's changes there in those areas, probably in the general area of your values and material values. So that's where the change is going to be. And then Mercury goes direct on the 25th, in which you'll probably learn some insights. You'll probably get some insights on the 22nd, which can then be applied from the 22nd to the 25th. And then 25th, things just make much more sense. And a little bit after that, 26th, 27th, Mercury gains his momentum forward, goes over Pluto again on the 30th. And by that point, it's a great time between the 25th and 30th to really apply all of this stuff you learned about your values. Right? It could be some big changes there for a lot of you. Now on the 23rd, we got a full moon in Cancer. So your 9th house, a lot of you could be becoming aware of your life path. Very much so, very much illuminated at the end of the month. There's, maybe even things culminating from over the past 6 months in regards to philosophy or travel or anything that expands your horizons of that 9th house. And then also on the 23rd, Venus goes into Sagittarius. So for all of us, the relationships, and specifically for you, because Venus rules your 7th, probably become a little bit more expansive. It's been very watery in Scorpio Ophiuchus, but now definitely more expansive with Sagittarius. And Venus goes over that galactic center. So a lot of you could be seeing these transformations, very much so with your one-to-one connections, even spiritually, since Venus rules the 12th. So that'll be leading up to and around this 23rd. Now on this 23rd onward, you should have the enjoyment, in fact, in regards to the simple values, the enjoyments of life, and maybe even the material stuff also. Kind of maybe even lighten up, maybe as a result of a lot of this transformational energy that's occurred. On the 23rd, also, Jupiter conjoins up to the North Node exact in that 10th house. So a lot of life path awareness for a lot of us. For you, how your life path is shifting towards the career, towards the big picture stuff for the next 2 years. And there could be a lot of insights with this and maybe even opportunities in that career sector. Now, the month tops off with your ruler on the 27th going into Libra. So you guys will probably notice wanting to maybe get some more of that rest and relaxation going into February, right, with Mars in your 12th house. So getting that alone time, that spiritual time out, I think will be good as a result. And that's going to be more momentum and more energy for you, interestingly enough, for the other areas of your life through getting that alone time. All right, Scorpio Ophiuchus. Well, I hope you guys have a great month. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time.